In this video, we'll take a quick look at how to use design tools in Canvas and how it works in Pages, in assignments, and in discussions. It helps us set up our materials in Canvas. It can help us do things a lot faster and also help us maintain our accessibility standards. So what is design tools? Design tools are a series of tools that are added and provided by a third-party company, and they integrate within the Canvas environment. Some of you may have seen them, others may have not, but I guarantee they'll help make quick work of some of your more difficult text entry tasks in Canvas. Let's begin. So if I start with a page, so a simple page here, 1.1 introduction, I go to my edit bar. You'll see that I automatically had something, a rocket ship icon in the top right that said Launch Tools. Yours may not show up. How do you get it to show up? You have to be in the edit mode in your pages. And in order to access the rocket ship and its functions, you hold the Alt-Shift-D buttons on a PC, and I believe it's the Command-Shift-D buttons on a Mac. That should open up your rocket ship. And there you get your design tools. This first menu that you see will be the one to help you move you along. So it's much easier to pull your templates straight from here, instead of having to always go to the Commons. So for example, let's say I wanted to, this is a unit page here in one of my units. I have some options. I can copy existing content. There are all course pages. So if I had another page that I wanted to copy, I could do that. Right here where it says Institution Templates, if I select page, and we see that here we have a sample unit page. If I click sample unit page, our sample unit page is right here. And so for this, let's say 1.1 Introduction. Okay. Notice the estimated time to complete is right here. Okay. And I can add my text here. Very simple. So in Design Tools, well, I've copied this. So this is our header, right? This is the progress bar that's already in there, our time to complete. These pieces are called content blocks. You can see the blue outlines here. These are content blocks. If I want to add more content blocks, I simply go to plus, add content blocks right here. And you'll see that there are some pre-made ones. Or I can just create a new content block with my own custom title. So this might be learning target or whatever it is. And I add it. When you press the green plus button, it goes right here. Now let's say I made that an error. The undo and redo buttons here are also very helpful. You can click undo and that removes it, or redo. Right? So add my content block. Learning target. There you go. I can move blocks around very easily in this list where it shows add, arrange, or add or rearrange content blocks. So right under the the chevron for copy existing content. We have the add/rearrange content blocks. And we can move this up or down simply by dragging. We can always add blocks by pressing the plus button here. These materials here, choosing a theme, the banner text, the banner image, and the navigation blocks. While they are very helpful and interesting tools, they can significantly alter the functionality and the general brand layout that we've designed for our online courses and start to remove that consistency we expect. So we're asking you to not use those things and do not change this template. While this can make our templates easy to access, easy to use, we're asking that while these tools are powerful, we're asking you to not use them specifically because they can throw off our design templates, our color schemes, and everything else. And the desire to customize is great, I get it, but at the same time, it can also throw off our entire design concept and that consistent experience for students. If you are teaching a foreign language that uses accents, so let's say we need that. Language accents can be accessed right here. And choose your language. Say I'm choosing French. And I can select right there. So it's a very easy thing. So let's say in French, I want to write à côté de. So, à. So I can use my language and accent characters right there just by pressing the button as I'm writing. So this can be very helpful, useful for that. I also have another accessibility checker here. If I add an image here, we'll talk more about accessibility later, but the accessibility checker here can help. Some of you have asked about using tabs in accordions and panels. That is something you can add, but I will present the caveat that we have to be very careful as to how we add it. So here, let's say we have, let's say something about American government. And I have three containers or three subsections for this title. If I go to Add Advanced Elements, you'll see that there's accordion slash tabs. If I go here, I can add it as a new content block, or I can add it out of the cursor. Since I've already added this block, I'll add it at the cursor. So that it will simply just place it where my cursor is located. And notice it looks like there's a new content block underneath. Don't be jarred or alarmed. Where it says panel heading, let's say I want to talk about confederations, and I can add a new panel. Change my title here. The federal system and a unitary system. Now, that doesn't automatically make these anything. It says none. So I can make them accordions, expanders, or tabs. If I make them tabs, you'll see it says tabs here. And if I save this, this is how it displays. So my tabs are here. If I want to make them, and I change my mind, I say, you know what, I don't like the tabs. I want to try an expander. If I click in here and then go back to Add Advanced Elements, Accordion's Tabs, you'll see that that shows up again. But if I click here, notice that it disappears. It has to be clicked right next to where the tabs are. Let's say I want to make this an expander. So I click Expander, and that changes it from tabs to expander. And now I save it. So now I can expand all or collapse all, or just one, the other, and the other. And finally, I can change it from expander by clicking in there again and going to accordion and save. With the accordion, the difference from the expander is that, let's say I'm reading about confederations and then I want to read about the federal system, it automatically collapses whatever other window I was looking at. Okay. So that's how you do those. Is it possible to embed tabs in accordions within tabs and accordions? Yes. And just because you can does not mean you should. Be judicious when you use these things, because adding too many of these in a single section or page can really obfuscate, and we want to make sure our meanings are clear. We also, if we go to Add Advanced Elements, let's say we've reached the end and we want some final thoughts that apply to this whole section, but we have these panels. If I go to the Advanced Elements and I click Insert Paragraph After, you'll see that I can add text there, so that below that list of panels I can have text here. So it's a powerful system. It's really helpful. What other advanced elements can I add? So for example, if I want to add a quick check or a pop-up, so let's say I wanted to write confederations, power is given to the central government by the state governments. Let's say I wanted to put a pop-up over something to explain or define. I click on pop-up content, and I can make a tooltip, and it'll show you an example, something short, a little longer with HTML thrown in. This can be a popover can be interactive, and then modal, like a modal dialogue content. So let's say I just wanted to make a little popover. And let's undo that. Okay. State governments. And we'll say so if you're a child of previous generations and you remember pop-up video from the 90s, here's how you make your own pop-up video. And you'll notice that the outline is around the highlighted text for a popover. Now, let's say at the end of my unit, I wanted to have a quick check. Just some simple questions. I'm not collecting them for a grade, just self-checks for students to see, did you get the point? Did you get the point of that section? And then we can move on. If I go here to add advanced elements, and I do quick check, and I can add it as a content block or at the cursor. So if I have something here in federal system, for example, and I wanted to add a cursor question, I can add it the cursor. And the quick check title is I'll put my question text right there. And then answer A or answer B. And then you'll notice here I can choose which one. And so which is the correct one? I click in the correct one, and that's the correct answer. That's the incorrect answer. And then I can actually, right, ended. And then here, great. Now notice I can click this button that says hide the next link until this is completed. So that means you are requiring that students complete this before they can see that next link. So with that here, if I click save, here's what we'll see. Quick check. What year did the Constitution take effect? 1781. Wrong. That was the year the War for Independence ended. So let's try this one. 1789. Great. You got it. Good. And now that next button appears. If I refresh this, it tells me where that would be. It says answer the quick check to proceed. So make sure that you complete your little quizzes. So if you have those little pieces, those little checks after you give a short lecture or a short video presentation, this is how you can really make that happen. Some other features of design tools we'll talk about in our next video.